build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's bit in his eye. Oh, well, they gave me balls, but I can see between to a dusty yard and long gone green. We call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. This is Shortbangers episode 7. I've got a very relaxed looking Brian on the line. Brian, how are you doing?
Very well, I'm lubricated.
Good stuff. So we'd like to hear, John, how lubricated are you?
I'm just about to get fired into my first Jura winter edition, so I'll be plenty lubricated soon.
These are a pair of lucky bastards because I'm on driving duties, so I can't have anything. So I'm on Iron Brew at the minute.
How do you have your whiskey, John?
What's that?
How do you have your whiskey?
Usually just with the one ice cube.
Oh yes, a man after my own heart. Well done.
Right. We're on the clock tonight. These Shortbangers. The premise is, if you've not listened before, is we've got 20 minutes. We'll get through as many questions as folk have sent in as we can through that 20 minutes. But to add an extra dimension to we're recording just as the Hibs Hamilton game is kicking off. So the teams have just come out. They're about to kick off. So no fanning about, and we might get distracted by events on the pitch, hopefully, and hopefully with Hibs goals. So 20 minutes on the clock starts now. And the first question we've got is for Lee. He said, if you held a world record, what would it likely be for?
Shitting myself in public.
Oh, decent. You probably already have that world record, to be fair, Brian.
I think so. It's unparalleled.
John?
The number of and in a podcast.
Probably about right as well. What would I have a world record for? The amount of shite talked, probably. So we'll move on to that.
It's got to be your dad jokes, number of dad jokes in a 60-minute session.
Aye, decent. That's a no bad shout as well. Neil Renton, he said, here's a topic for the podcast that can't possibly go wrong. He says it can. This was one of my favourite Hibs games, and he's got a picture from Hibernian Retro for the Skull Cup semi-final. He said, what's been your favourite semi? John, you can take this one first. What's your favourite semi?
All I'm going to say is American Striptease Malaga.
Decent. Right, we'll say no more about that. Well, or tell us more about it, whichever.
To quote Theresa May, now is not the time.
Brian, what's the best semi you've had?
Probably my Uncle Ralph's pop-up booth called Pink Giraffes. Failing that, Hibs Fall Cup.
Hibs Fall Cup would be the one I would go for as well. That was carnage. There was folk fighting in the seats next to us and everything. Just like a total mental day, that one. With the kids with us, and we literally had to lift them up and take them out to the stairs so they didn't get banjoed by these Rajis that were scrapping. Aye, some game. Did you know? Nah. You didn't. I was just saying you didn't miss much, but you did. You missed fucking everything. It was brilliant.
Yes.
Was that bedwetters versus happy clappers away?
Aye, well, the thing is like the amount of folk that buggered off at half time as well. Like there was folk, I ken people who were watching the second half in the boozer because they were that sickened by the first half, but they just went bollocks to this and were halfway back along the road or in boozers near Hampden.
True story. I'd suggested to a couple of mates that we just sack it because I think was that after 2012 or before.
After.
Aye. So I'd say at half time, should we just sack it? And then I was convinced to stay. So I put a Facebook post up saying Hibs are going to win 4-3.
Did you?
We did. Aye. Like fucking Hibs Nostradamus.
Aye. Okay, right. Pride of Edinburgh is the next question. He said, what's the best way to cook your streak? I think he meant steak. So I like how you cook a streak. So how do you like your steak?
Brian?
Microwaved.
Welcome to Trinets.
Medium rare.
John?
Aye, same. Medium rare.
Aye, that's all right. I like it there. Like kind of the rarer the better for me.
Really?
Probably get slaughtered for that as well, but aye.
I think one of my favourite bits about steak is the sort of juicy bloodiness that you can mop up. Well, you can mop up after you finish your steak, basically.
Right, next question. Chris Lee, name 3 Finnish international players to have played for Hibs. So this is a trivia one rather than an opinion one.
Jarkovic.
Yep. Did you say one there, Brian?
Yeah, I said Jarkovic. Do we not have Yuhi Ripper?
So, I think he was Finnish or non international. John Johansson was one.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And obviously 6'2", the most famous and the best of the Finnish internationals that we had.
Ah, yes.
6'2", Mitsu. Who is it? Victor Paulson played for internationally. I thought he was
Iceland.
Was it Iceland?
Iceland, he represented that the frozen food chain. He did quite well for them as well. Right, 150k on Hanlon Hill. If Messi had been Scottish, would he have in fact been shite?
Too small.
He would probably be playing in the Portuguese second division right now.
Portuguese second division. Think he'd have got as far as that.
Ryan Gold.
Oh, aye.
He's the Scottish Messi, you know?
Mick Messi, they called him, I'm sure. My stream's just frozen. That's good. Is you still getting a good view of the game? That's because I'm yeah. Oh, sakes. Right, I'm not missing any goals of that now, am I?
No. Hibs corner.
Good, right, I'm on the Hibs. Right, Neil Whelan, if Martin Boyle and Rachel Boyle needed an urgent babysitter, which player would they call and why? Ryan. Yeah, bugger, that was close.
Another corner.
Aye, the keeper saved it. Hey, come on, who's babysitter?
It looked like it had maybe been called for like offside or something.
I'm going to say Joe Newell.
Why?
No idea. Just
John?
a corner, so.
Takes a good corner, get him in on babysitting duties.
Alex Gogic. I'm going to say because he'll be like, remember when Hulk Hogan and what's his job was Vin Diesel did the nanny movies? Alex Gogic looks the antithesis of godparent material, babysitter material. Sorry.
I was going to say Porteous just because if anybody was trying to kind of do anything untowards to the Bairn, you'd be pretty solid. But I think Gogic is quite a good shout as well because when it came to bedtime, the kid's not going to argue. Do you know, they'd have a wee look at him, think twice about arguing, and just go, "Nah, fuck it, I'm going to bed then."
Just going to the doorway, tapping a hammer. You will sleep.
Right, Josh McLeish, name a league game that sticks in your mind which wasn't against the so-called big teams, and he's listed them as Celtic, Sevco, Dunkins or Aberdeen.
Dundee, 5-1. They did a gap. Was it 5-1, 5-2?
It sticks in your mind.
Yeah.
I can't remember the score, but...
Aye, I was there. Just because I was there.
John?
Hibs 7, Livingston 0, Easter Road. I think it was like early February, March time. Paul Lambert was in charge of Livy. It was absolutely freezing. My mate wanted to leave at half time because it was Baltic, and I said no, we're staying. And got to see Hibs 1-7-0.
Well, I'll go for Hibs 5, Killie 3, which was the week before, or home game before we had the 5-5 with Rangers. And it gets overlooked. It was also like a fucking bonkers game. And it was brilliant. Yeah. Scoring 5 goals at home.
Was that when Boyd
scored
a free kick?
Aye.
That might be the game actually that I was on the pitch with the halftime challenge, or what is it, the halfway line challenge or something?
What did you have to do? Like run up and score? Did you score?
Aye, I scored 2 or 3. Right foot, left foot. All I was missing was the header for the perfect hat trick. And
did any of the wee kids you were up against, did they get goals?
No, I just battered them at the way. Curvy Nisbet coming through.
It was the Sunshine, the Leaf Links that was in goals.
No, he's fucking
terrible, by the way. I don't know why they keep giving him the gig. He's hopeless, like everything that goes near him, he lets in.
I've just got an image of John, you like that boy in Happy Gilmore, just coming over the moors.
Wasn't even meant to be on at that half-time that week.
Out my way.
Just rocked up in full kit and chanced it. Right, Mike's asked, would you rather use vinegar for eye drops or sandpaper for toilet roll?
Sandpaper.
John?
Sandpaper on your arsehole?
Aye.
I've had worse
You
on
would
there.
prefer that to vinegar in your eyes?
Aye, that would sting. I wear contact lenses. I'm not
What do you
doing
think
that.
sandpaper's going to do? Like?
Fuck, listen, my arse has been through the. That's been through the mud.
I think I would probably pick the sandpaper out of that one as well.
You two have definitely got a varied sex life, eh?
Well, none about shagging or that. It's just vinegar in your eyes is going to be brutal, isn't it? Like, and assuming if you need eye drops, you're probably going to need to do them more than you're going to have to go for a tam kite, because you could have that in until you really have to go, and you might get lucky and it might be like a one wiper.
Yeah.
So
there's times that I've had to do it in
Is
public.
that
I would have been grateful
coarse
for
or is that a
sandpaper.
fine grain?
it doesn't matter. It's going to be scary either way. Is there such a thing as a one wiper, or do you always have to have a second one to check?
I always have three clean wipes.
That's the benchmark, is it?
Aye.
Or skid mark.
It's like, have you seen the film? Have you seen Austin Powers with, I think it's Will Ferrell, where he talks about the 3 questions? If I get to 2 wipes and the third one's dirty, I have to start again.
I never put that much thought into it. Right, David, come in. All right, so here's a trivia question. Which is the only word with 3 consecutive repeating letters? I don't know if you'll know that off the top of your heads.
What?
3 consecutive, so like...
Aye, like so.
Like
for example, double Z, double Y, double X, but consecutive, so there's no a single letter interrupting them.
Oh, right, okay.
All right, I'll come back to that one. You can have a think about it. We'll reveal it at the end of the show if I remember. Raimondo Brun, by the way, he sent 2 questions into us. I'm not going to use either of them because they're too taxing. But one of them was like one of these, like a logic question, right? Where it was 5 nationalities, and each nationality lived in a different house. The houses were all different colours, and they all drank a different drink and smoked a different cigarette. And you had a little bit of information for each, and you had to figure out like who drinks water and who had a zebra, which are never mentioned in the fucking puzzle at all.
Yep.
And he sent that one over to try and work it out, and I thought, well, I'm not doing anything else. Honestly, I started with bits of paper and I ended up with a fucking spreadsheet. I'm not even joking. I had the work laptop and everything in Excel. Was like, and I got it right. The thing is, I messaged him. I said, right, this one.
Hang on. You got it right.
I got it right. Aye. So, but I sent him a message saying, right, I've not figured out who's got the zebra yet, but this is who I think has got the water. And he came back and said, no, that's wrong. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, right. So back to the drawing board, started again, got to the same answer, messaged him again and said, oh, I got that again. And he says, oh, actually, I got muddled up, that's right. So that was like another hour at my night that I didn't really need to lose. But anyway, figured it out. I will tweet the question later on, so if anybody wants to have a go at it, just didn't do it when you've got other plans. That would be my advice to you.
Do these people listen to our show? I don't know if I've gave off the wrong impression that I'm some kind of Stephen Fry-esque character. I'm usually just fried.
It's no QI.
No.
Anyway, his question was Bilko sadly under-promoted and restricted in the motor pool? Where could his skills be best utilised within the US military? So, I don't know if you've ever watched Sergeant Bilko when you were wee.
I've got a vague recollection of it. Can you repeat the question?
Yep. Was Bilko sadly under-promoted and restricted in the motor pool? Where could his skills be best utilised within the US military?
Brian?
15.
Is a good answer. I didn't really care enough about. I used to like watching Bilko, but I couldn't really remember anything about it. I was wee when that was on. Believe it or not.
I didn't even realise that he had as bizarre as it sounds, I didn't realise that he had an actual position because I was just too young to appreciate that people could have jobs. I thought everyone in the military was just a soldier.
Aye, I probably would go along with that at that age. What about MASH? Did you ever watch MASH?
Nope.
I know what it is, but never watched it.
I was always disappointed it wasn't about tatties, so I can only watch one episode and was like, no going back to that. Fucking pish. Same with Chips. That was a disappointment. Bastards. Right, next question. This one was on Hibs.net, and it was from Ryan91. He said, in light of Down the Slopes Matty Jack interview, which if you've not listened to it, you should go and have a listen, it's good. Which Hibs player, past or present, would you most like to interview? John. And you can't have a really stockery answer, right? Because it creeps them out and will restrict how many folk we can attract to do interviews with us.
Who's it? My adopted dad, who's younger than me, he's just said Gary O'Connor. That's a wee bonus answer. Me, Brian, you want to jump in?
Torsten Schmugger.
You said that on the thread on .net. You can't go for that again. It's got to be someone else.
Fine. Lyndon Andrews.
Shout. Can I go Tony Rougier then?
You can definitely.
You must have some stories to tell.
I like to get Soze on. Like if you were being totally serious about it and saying who would you have, Soze, well, the fucking heartbeat, eh?
I'd attract, if I'm being serious, Russell Latterby.
Aye, like for that era, that would be. You can imagine having them both on the same show. Wonder who we could speak to get that organised.
Brian, is Russell Latterby your spirit animal?
No, I would say Diego Maradona is. Wonderful left foot. Wonderful.
There was a picture of Maradona today. Did you see it?
When he's got the mask.
It's like he's sitting with a fucking goldfish bowl. Instead of going to like manage a football team, he looks like he's about to go on a mission to fucking Mars. It's like a space helmet he's sitting on.
And if he's sneezed, it'd be like a snow globe.
Aye. Aye, some lad Maradona, eh? What a character. Right. Tom Fairney's got, do you think Ron Gordon's stewardship puts Hibs in a better position to reject the derisory bids that either or both Celtic or Rangers will eventually make for purchase and allow us to sell into a top European club for his true value?
I think that Ron Gordon is signing players at the moment purely to wind up Ewan Murray and Tom English. I don't think we've got any need for McGuinness, but we've just signed them anyway because fuck them.
There must be at least a half pint of their tears already.
Aye, the nonsense. I ended up having a big argument with Tom English about it on, was that Thursday morning, Wednesday morning? Aye, fucking nonsense. He's objecting to him signing for a fee. And I said to him, like, why is that the business cost that they're not allowed to have? What if we had to relay the pitch? Are we only allowed to relay it with grass seed because that's cheaper than turf? Like, it's fucking stupid. It's like, if you didn't know how to run a business, you have to go and buy stuff to have a better product. That's how it works. Tesco's going to go, fuck, everyone's going into lockdown, so we're not going to buy any stock in case we need government help. It's fucking nonsense. Anyway, speaking of that pair, Alan, Hibs Alan, who sends us questions quite a lot, he said, you, English and Murray in a room, only one isn't making it out. Who is it?
Is the self-proclaimed third best podcast, does that mean that you're not making it out of the three?
Only one's not making it out.
Only one isn't making it out, aye. So two get out.
That's me then. That's me. I would just, if only one's not making it out, I would just shoot myself as soon as I walked in the room.
Sorry, I think because the question was to the Longbangers account and I associated that with Matty, I just assumed that Matty was going in and taking the pair of them on. So I think Matty would come out.
Aye, so which are the ones out of English and Murray, isn't he? Who's surviving?
Hang on. Have I misunderstood the question?
How strong is that whiskey?
Is it only one's making it out?
You, English and Murray in a room, only one isn't making it out. So two people get out.
Oh, so what's the point in that? Why would you leave one of them alive?
I suppose it's like kind of the anti-Sophie's choice, isn't it? Rather than try to pick one out of your bairns you've got to save, you're going, which of these two fannies are we not going to kill?
Who out of those two is the lesser of two evils?
English, I would say.
English, probably, because he's no proper Jambo, is he? He's just pretend at the moment.
Aye. Right. That's us for questions. We've done them all within the allocated time.
Oh, that's a yellow.
That is a yellow. I got a yellow.
Aye. Is he booked for it?
I got booked. I said earlier in the chat, what's your favourite song of all time?
Oh, aye. Right enough. Favourite song of all time?
And why?
Rock and Roll Star from Oasis, I would say, or Sound by James. Maybe Sound by James, actually, because that's like probably the one that's been my favourite for the longest. I love that song.
What's the Led Zeppelin song that isn't a Whole Lot of Love or Stairway to Heaven?
Pass.
I can't remember. It's that one.
How can it be your favourite? You didn't even care what it's fucking called.
I've just got to see
Because it's like
It's got a special place in my heart. If somebody could tell me some of the words for it, I might remember it.
How does it go again?
it's really good when you're driving.
All right. What about you, Brian?
Thanks for entertaining me. Cheers.
Oh, Slide Away, Oasis.
Good shout as well.
Musical perfection.
And because we had some decent answers to this one, John, you also asked like the opposite of that is which song do you hate like you can listen to without smashing the room up?
Aqua, Barbie Girl.
Can I retract my Led Zeppelin shout and go for Make Some Noise by Beastie Boys?
Aye, you can have that. You can have whatever you want, mate. It's your song. Go on. Here's a chance.
A booking.
Oh, fucking hell. That's another foul, isn't it? Has to be a booking.
Yep.
Aye. Right. What I answered that one was I would say S Club 7 is this the song that I hated because they sang that there's no party like an S Club party, and then back in the 90s or early 2000s, I was at a party and it was quite like an S Club party, and I didn't like liars, so. Right, there's the timer, and by the way, Hibs have got a free kick in a dangerous position. It's a goal!
Perfect timing.
Yes!
Skinny Nisbet.
Well done, John.
Cheers,
Magnificent.
boys. That was for you too.
Right, that's perfect timing. So Hibs go 1-0 up. We're at the end of the podcast, so tune in on Tuesday. We'll review the game, including that spectacular free kick from Kevin Nisbet.
Skinny Nisbet.
Skinny Nisbet. That's a peach here. There's a replay on Hibs passing out. And
Can I go through the ball?
yeah, boy.
Here, see when I get skinny again, what are we going to call Skinny Nisbet? Or what are we going to call me? Or
Maybe
will I always be Curvy Nisbet?
He might end up chunkier than you. We might have to reverse it.
That's going to confuse folk.
You'll be
Well.
Atkins, Nisbet.
Atkins.
I'll be what, Nisbet?
Atkins.
Atkins.
Right, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you next time. We'll wait to watch the game.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.